everyone. Welcome back to the table. I am so excited that you are joining me for today's episode. It is going to be so much fun, but also really, really informative, which you know I love. I love to mix the two because I want my girls to have the greatest girlfriends and the greatest connections. And so that's why I invite you to my table so you can meet the people that have empowered me, have encouraged and inspired me, and have also taught me many, many lessons on how to get it together. So that's what we're going to do today. She's laughing, but it's true. It's true. So I'm excited to welcome Sherilyn Bennett to the table today. Sherilyn, if you do not know, she designed the cover for my book, Faith Goals. But more importantly, Sherilyn and I have had a relationship since I was a kid. So she has seen my evolution, which I thought was really special for a guest to bring to the table so they could have an organic conversation. And so I'm going to allow Sherilyn to introduce herself, and then we're going to jump right into our conversation today. So Sherilyn, say hi to the girls.
Hi, girls. Oh, it's so great to be here today. Yes, I have known Petra for a very long time, but it always makes it so much sweeter when you know people and can see how God has moved in their lives. So that's great. I'm glad I have a front seat and a seat at the table, right?
That's right. That's right.
Sherilyn Bennett. I'm an ordained prophetess, and I'm the CEO of Camden Lane Creative Agency. I'm an award-winning graphic designer and celebrity brander, but I'm also the founder of the Leap Women's Ministry. So I got a lot of things going on. New author. We have a book out now, which Petra played a part in, and then I'm so glad, called Boy, Defending Our Black Sons in America. So, yeah, we got a lot going on, but, all God ordained.
All God ordained, all good stuff, all propelling stuff. And that's really what we're going to jump in today. And I'm excited about that. So as you can see, Sherilyn has her hands in a whole lot of things, and she has learned to excel in her area, right? And so we're going to be talking today about faith in business, women CEOs, and how her faith has propelled her and aided her in making sound business decisions and staying true to her beliefs and taking leaps. And I think that that's really important because all of the things that she just listed for us, all of the things that she's covered, she's had to stay true to that, right? She's had to decide, okay, what's my lane, how to excel in my lane, how to find my voice and keep my voice, and how to allow faith to be her foundation. So we're going to dive right into that. Can we do that, Sherilyn?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm so excited. I love these conversations because I'm still learning. So it's good to learn with someone who has learned to excel in some areas, right? So let's talk about that first. So you do a lot. You've done a lot. How did you figure out where you needed to be?
Right. That's a good question because a lot of times clients come to me. My clientele is 99% women. And so
Love it.
times women come to me and they have a whole lot of things happening,
Uh-huh.
they want to be and what they want to do. And so what I do with women in business when it comes to their faith is I have them focus first on what they're graced for. Because if the grace isn't there, you're going to struggle. It could be something you want to do, but should you do it? Is God calling you to it? Or should you just support someone else in doing it? And so that's
Wow.
that a lot of women don't think about, right? They just think, I want to do this, I want to do that. And I always say social media is the culprit because it will pull you out of your authenticity and have you in a lane that you're not graced for. And then you're frustrated and then you're thinking that God has forsaken you. And so for me, I know that I'm really good at graphic design. I'm graced for that. And so most of the time, things that I'm doing, with the exception of this book, have everything to do with where I'm graced for. And so
Mm.
branding and the brand classes and those kind of things all speak to the gift, right?
Yeah.
And like trying to operate outside of your gift is frustrating. It really is. And it can make your faith take a hit because you're thinking, man, God, maybe you're not with me here. Well, maybe not because you didn't seek me about what it is. So I do have a lot of clients that come to me and they're not focused. And so what I try to do each year is have focus goals. Like, what should I focus on this year? And how is it not only going to help me, but benefit my clients? And so I would say focus would be the main thing. Much prayer, definitely. And then focusing in on what is that gift? What is it? Because you could launch a t-shirt line, but are you graced for that? Are you going to be okay with selling 10 shirts and that's it?
And
Or
that's it.
right, or will you like to focus on what you know in your heart God has called you to do? So
That's huge. And I want to ask a question. Can we interchange graced with anointed for or purposed for? Could that also be a thing?
absolutely, it's the same thing, I think.
That's I would think too. Because when
Mhm.
you're talking about, I'm like, yeah,
That's
that's
so
the thing. We talk a lot about that, right? And so I love that you say that it's not just you figuring out your lane, but also the people that you work with. So
yeah,
that tells me that you're also selective with who you're connecting with,
very,
right?
very.
Y'all take notes, take notes. And this, I want, again, and I say this over and over again, being selective about who you connect with and who you build relationship with is not being mean and is not being uppity or anything like that. It's actually doing the right thing by your people, right? Because what you don't want to do is be a placeholder for someone. There's someone else that's graced, as Sherilyn says, for that position, just like someone is graced for her gifts, her anointing, her purpose, and those things she has to pour into those people. Because sometimes we'll find ourselves attaching to people or pouring into people that we weren't ever supposed to be attached to or pouring into.
Right, and it can become a burden.
It can, and it can be dangerous too to them.
Very.
It can be really, really dangerous
Hmm.
to them. So you talked about being graced for these things. So how your faith has propelled you forward and making these sound business decisions. So being selective, figuring out what you're graced for, which is graphics, but you're also doing this book too. So how has your faith propelled you and aided you in making these types of decisions as you've grown?
Right. Faith is a big word for me this year. Actually, I'm about to start a mentorship program for women in business strictly on faith. We're not talking business at all. So I will
Nice.
be Prophetess Sherilyn for the next 8 months to them. But
I love
my faith has had to not only propel me, it has had to sustain me because when I started this company, it was because I got a pink slip
Yeah,
from my
yeah,
job.
yeah.
Uh, One morning, the HR lady shows up and she says, "We no longer need your position." There were 8 people that were being let go that day. But I always love telling this story because something special happened that day for me.
Hmm.
And that was she pulled me to the side and we're both crying because we had gotten to know each other. I've been in the company for about 6 years.
Right.
And she said to me, Michelle, if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't know the Lord in this place. So thank you for introducing us to God. And she said, "We would like to give you $25,000 in your bank account next week. Um, God bless you." And I said, "Okay, it's time for me to go." Right?
Yeah.
It's time for me to go. And I remember going home that day. I actually had to minister the next day in Charlotte. I didn't know I would live in Charlotte, but I was still living in Florida at the time. And I remember waking up the next day thinking, what am I going to do? You know, my one son is in college. I have another kid. I have rent. I have all these bills. And God told me that day, He said, "You'll never work in corporate again." And so I have held God to His word. But not only that, I have kept my faith in such a way that I wasn't going to let Him let me down.
I love it.
Right? Because when you work for yourself, it is you and God. If you've never had a faith walk with the Lord, you try
Woo!
being door and only just you and Jesus.
Mm-mm.
Only you and the Lord.
That's it.
That
Literally it.
that's it. You ain't calling nobody. These folks ain't cutting you no check every week. It's like you have to do things God's way in order to get to where God says He's sending you. And so, yes, my faith has sustained me. I have to just encourage you all that, my lights have never been turned off. I've always been able
Yes.
to pay my rent. And actually, the second year I was in business, I made double the money I made in corporate. God has kept His word to me. I built an amazing, amazing creative agency, and we do things big agencies don't even do yet. We get clients big agencies don't get, and that's only by God's hand because I hear Him first. I don't hear a coach or strategist first. I
Right.
wake up in the morning and God and I get things done. So yeah, it
I,
has definitely sustained me for sure. Mhm.
I love that. And I love that you said that you hold God to his word.
Oh yes.
You hold God to his word, but it's true. And I think sometimes we forget that,
Mhm.
right? We get this woe is me attitude, and I have to do all this on my own. But the word says that his word will not return to him void. It's his word,
It's
not
His word.
our word.
Mhm.
It's his
It's
word.
His word. It is His. It is his word. And so, I repeat God's word back to him often in business,
Often.
because I don't like to get fussy with business. I'm not a six-figure lady. I'm not talking about sales funnels and all that, because listen, I did it without all that.
That's
Not
it.
there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying I don't get caught up in it because it's aggravating to me. I just seek God. I take time away and I hear him. I hear his instructions. And actually, I have a hit list, right? You were
Mm.
on it, so I have a hit list of the women that I know that God is moving in their lives, and I put them on a list, and I say, God, these are my clients. This is my clientele. This is what it looks like. And so that list consists of some big people. I got Pastor Reba last year. She's on the list. So, that's what it is. People, I think, Petra would be amazed to know that that's how I do business. But it is. That's just how I do business. I don't like fussy things.
I love it. I love it. I tell my girls all the time,
Mm-hmm.
even with my brunch every year,
Yeah.
I don't know the people that are coming. I have
Right.
no clue who they are. I literally sit and I ask God, who do you want? Who do
That's
you
what
want to send? And
Mm-hmm.
every time he tells me someone, Sherilyn, I don't know these people. And I said, okay, well, we doing it. And we've never, ever, ever been let down. We've never been disappointed. We've never had a situation where like, this is a bad idea. You know what I mean? But it really is true. If you sit at his feet and you trust him
Mm-hmm.
and you trust that you can actually hear him because you've built relationship,
Right.
your hit list is really a done list.
It's
It's not a
done.
hit list. It's a done list.
It's a done list.
You
Yes.
hear me? Like it's done. Like when it's so funny that you say that you're like, yeah, I don't worry about six figures. I don't worry about these strategies. I just ask him
Oh,
and I follow him and now he does it. And it seems strange to people, but you know what? What strange seems strange to people is in alignment with God.
yes. That's right.
He's not bound by people. He's not bound by their emotions or what
Oh,
they think should be done. Because
mhm.
if he had had to ask people, the creation of the earth would never have come about.
All right. That's
Right.
right. If
And I
he
think
had,
it's
God ain't asking us to consult with folk. He's asking us to consult with him. And then he will bring those people. I know that God has connected me with some amazing people, but I know also that every client that comes through the door, God sent them. I know for a fact
excellent.
that he
And
sent them because I prayed for them. So I know for a fact that he sent them. And God has helped me build a real impactful agency full of amazing women that are doing
yes.
amazing things because he knows that's my heart. So if I do that in ministry, why wouldn't I do that in business? And so
Mm,
I do it leap, I teach women like these shouldn't be two separate things, your ministry or your business. If you're sowing in ministry when you go to church, you should sow from that business because the same rule applies, right?
that's
And
it.
so
That's it.
a lot of times we miss that. We think, oh, the business is over here and the kingdom is here. Well, if you're kingdom, your business is kingdom,
That's
and you
it.
better look at it as such. You better sow. You better give. You better do all those things. You better honor God. Uh,
Mm.
business. I love telling the story about the people from RuPaul Drag Race who called me. The winner called me, and his manager called me, and they wanted me to brand him. And I thought, ugh. I went back and forth. I have to be transparent. It's just a lot of money on the table. And I said, God, is it going to be me that changes their lives? Da da da.
Sure.
And I just simply said to me, well, prophet is if you can't defend it, then you shouldn't be doing it. And so
Um,
we're in kingdom business and you say your kingdom, you better know that there's something that's going to challenge you to figure out if you really are. That's
wow.
going to figure out that you'll be challenged by something, whether that's money, whether that's morals, that will challenge you and have you determine, am I really kingdom or am I just saying that because it's trendy?
Uh, Put a pin in that.
It's,
Put a
it's,
pin in that.
it's true.
That's a thing. That's a
Yeah.
whole thing. And that literally speaks to how your faith has aided you in making sound decisions
Mm-hmm.
because you have learned to listen first.
Yes. Yeah.
You learn. I mean, I think a lot of people when we talk about faith, we talk about the action and oh, we
Mm-hmm.
gotta move, we gotta do.
Yeah.
But a lot of your faith is really requiring you to sit still first
Yes. Mm-hmm.
and to be obedient in that stillness,
Yeah.
right? Because
Yeah.
there's a lot of times that a lot of us want to jump real fast. Like, okay, I'm in it to win it. I'm gonna move, God. I hear you. And he's like, that is not what I
Or
chill.
done, and you've moved before the instructions are fully given to you, and then you're down the road like, oh wait, right, because you left too soon. God was still talking. So
Right. You didn't get the full playbook.
no,
You
no,
didn't get the full playbook. You got a
yeah,
piece of the play.
that's
A
all.
piece of play. And you're like, well, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. Let's run with it. And then he's like,
Yeah,
yeah. How's
no,
that
the
going for
song
you?
will not be your portion. You need to listen and hear what the Lord say.
That, that. And you've talked about staying true to your beliefs. How did you get solid in that
Mm.
space? Because that's hard for some of us, you know what I mean? And I'm not talking about me, so y'all don't repeat that. Stop, because I can already feel the Twitter fingers. Oh my God,
Right.
no. How did you get sturdy in really staying true to your beliefs? Because, like you said, social media will sway you, and you will see what all these other people are doing, and you'll be like, well, I know I can do that. Maybe I need to just give in this area, or maybe I need to let this portion go. And it's like,
Right.
if God has not called you to these things or purposed you for that lane, how are you going to stay true to your beliefs even when it gets really, really difficult because you see other people having further momentum, I guess?
Right. I fell on my face a few times.
Mm,
I always say, share my coaching and mentoring story, right? So
yes,
I
yes.
felt like be a brand coach, I was on the front of a magazine, the new kid in town, it's just like, and then when I did it, it was horrific. It was just, my poor students were, it was just horrific. God bless their hearts. It was bad. It
It
was
is
bad. I thought, no, this isn't for me. Even though everybody on the side of this planet is a coach. No, Sherilyn, God ain't calling you that, girl. No, but I did find out that I can mentor because mentoring is more fluid, and that's where
yes.
I thrive in. I don't really thrive in structured, probably
God,
because brain, but when it's fluid, it's better for me,
I
right?
love that.
So I said, I'm not a coach. I'm not a business coach. I'm not Coach Sherilyn, but I will mentor you, so,
Mm,
thrive. And so I had to fall on my face a few times when it comes to things like that,
yeah.
because it will have you thinking that you're behind, or you're not hip, or you're not trendy, right? And
Mhm.
so a lot of times we fall prey, and then we're feeling like we're not enough, or we're not good enough because we couldn't do it the way they're doing it, where their anointing is theirs.
Yeah.
God has given you to pour, is going to look different in your glass than it does in theirs. And so we have to be very mindful about mimicking and things like that, because who God gives the blueprint to is who he gives the anointing to. So you could
Mm,
all day long, but you won't get those same results because it's not your assignment. But rest assured, there are people assigned to your assignment that are waiting on you to just be yourself. So
wow.
um, that's
That's
how I
huge.
I fell on my face a few times.
I love that. I love that you can be transparent with that and be vulnerable with that because a
Yeah,
lot of us like to hide the missteps.
yeah.
We
Hmm.
love that. We're like, oh, no, no, my path was like this. Everything came together. It was great. And you're like, no,
That
no.
no, no. My first business, I lost about 10 grand. I didn't have any clue what I was doing. Yeah, it was just bad.
But those are the things that we need to hear. Like, I know, okay, so this is a total joke, and I know you didn't even know this, but you were talking about the t-shirt thing. Sherilyn, that was me. That me, yes. That girl, when I started, I was like, oh, I'm gonna have t-shirts, it's gonna be live, it's gonna be lit. Sherilyn, no. No, 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 no. And I am so scarred from it. Even now, when the girls bring it to me, I'm like, I don't want that. I don't
No,
want that.
the
Don't bring that to me. Don't.
adiosis.
We're not talking about that. Don't bring me.
Oh my,
No shirts, no t-shirts. No, no.
no.
But it's really, really true
Hmm.
that you are going to make some mistakes. You're going to fall flat on your face, and you're going to have to regroup, and that's okay. It's a part of really determining what you're graced for, what you're anointed for, um, and what your lane looks like.
Hmm.
Because sometimes you are graced for similar things, but your
Yeah,
lane is different, or like you said, your cup is different.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
There are a lot of people that do the same things, and it's fine. Just seek God about how He wants you to pull this thing off, man, because you're going to be. just really upset. And me too. I'm a good deductor, meaning that
Mm,
if it doesn't work, I'm not emotionally tied to it, so I can get rid of it. It's when you become so emotionally tied to it that you can't see that, hey, this isn't working, and you'll let the whole ship go down. This is in business. Um, Instead of just taking this one thing off, because
that,
you feel like that happens with t-shirts. I
that,
remember Spiritually Sweet. I had one shirt that nobody wanted, and that there was a corner full of them because nobody wanted to buy them. Now, why would I continue to buy that color if nobody really wanted it? I
that's
mean,
true.
just deduct it because it's going to take your ship down. Well, really, in a spiritual sense, that's called pride.
Ah! Put a pin in that.
That's what that's
Pride.
pride. What comes before the fall? That's in business too. If
That's
you know
it.
it's not working and your customers aren't reacting to it, get rid of it.
Please take
Please,
it from me. Take it from Sherilyn. Get rid of it.
God won't be offended, child. He might not even have given you that. I'm just saying, just get rid of it.
I know the Lord ain't give it to me. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Okay. I know the Lord. Wasn't that the old song that you sing?
Yes.
Can y'all
I'm
tell me my granddaddy's baby? Yeah.
big brands, they make mistakes and they have to take it back, honey. IHOP with that IHOP. Remember?
What
It's
a mistake.
call me IHOP. Please just call me. This was who told you to do that? And all of a sudden they took it back and act like it never happened.
And like it never happened, right? And we all look around like we know you did it.
We know you did. We remember though. But anyway,
Yeah, I
okay.
mean, it's a thing. It's a thing. So I mean, just really being okay, like you said, with letting things go,
Yeah.
not allowing your pride to stop you.
Mhm.
Um, because there's a real reality that God has given you a vision,
Yes.
right? And tapping into that vision is
Mm.
where your fruit lies. And a
Yeah.
lot of times we want to till the soil that doesn't even belong to us. And
Okay.
we're worried about a harvest that has nothing to do with us.
Tend to your own garden, I say.
Girl,
Oh, not only does the fruit lie there, but you're gonna be happy.
that
I'm happy, even on deadline. I'm still happy because it's what I love to do. But not only that, I know it's what God has given me to do. Um,
that
in your hands, right? So what is it in your hands? Not in Sally's hands, not in Susan's hands,
that's
but
it.
in your, because you have a place here in this world, and you need to figure out what that is so you can thrive and grow in that, and that other people can benefit from the fact that you found your true identity. Your
That's it.
It's just like, why would you go and put somebody's face on your body or somebody's hands and feet? Like, why? There's no real satisfaction in that kind of thing. So
At all.
I think, finding who I was really helped me stand on my own. And that I'm a prophet and I just give it how it comes. So, but
Right. But you had to tap into that too, though.
yes, I even had to learn because I didn't look like most of these people out here. I don't preach like most of them, so God had to deal with me
Yeah.
concerning who I was as a prophet. Also, God doesn't give me the easy words. He always tries to send me with some hard message and that people will just like their toes will pull back. Guys never told me nobody somebody had a husband, they were getting a house or a car. He never talks to me like that. So
Yeah.
God said, listen, because your ministry is about deliverance. And only if we face ourselves can we be delivered. So it's important how you go out there. Even though I know you're going to be the belle of the ball, you're a prophet, you're never going to be that. So I did have to get okay with all of those things too.
I think I love that I had to become okay.
Yeah.
I had to become okay. You know what I mean? It's not I started out okay.
Oh,
I
no.
okay. You're right. Because I know that you were like, I ain't feeling that. But once you built that relationship with God and you guys can be candid with one another, and
Yeah.
a lot of people say, oh, God can always be candid with you. That's actually not true because a lot of us put God in a box and we
Yeah.
restrict the way he talks to us. And
Mm-hmm.
once you get to this place where you have taken off these restrictions from God and he can really communicate with you, that's when he begins to tell you the things and you begin to understand the things. He's not just telling you, you begin to understand.
It feels so good to have that kind of communication with God. Because, like, the last year when I had to go minister, the only time I did in person in 2020,
Mhm.
he had a theme. It was 2020 vision. And I remember calling my administrator and saying, God ain't giving me that. God isn't giving me that.
Yeah.
And there's no way I can do it. There's no way. And I said, God, really, are you sending me to Florida to tell these people that? And he was like,
Yes.
yes, I am. And
Yes.
I told her, I said, we have to have this healing altar call, because there's some healing that's going to take place. And sure enough, three women with breast cancer were in church that night. Three different women, and that I had to pray for. God prayed for. And I thought, man, if I wasn't obedient, they may not be in remission. They may not be healed. So we have to, even if it's the hard thing, even in business, I teach women that emotions have no place in business unless you're going to be broke, because
Mhm.
people will tell you anything to get from paying you, right? But they
Yes.
can't go to the next store and tell them that. So why would you think you're any less than them? Why would you
That's
think? So emotions, I'm not emotional in business. I just send invoices. I'm not emotional. I love Jesus. I will preach for you. I also will send you an invoice. That's just,
and I will pay the invoice.
yes, you do. Expedition.
Tell them, Cheryl, I will pay the
Pay it, you
I
girl. You
as
are
soon
not.
as I said, oh, okay.
Can we take that down? Or can we? Yeah, be like, okay, well, I'll send it to you. God sent you. I know he did. That's how I know God sent him, because they be like, okay, Sherilyn, yeah, sure.
Let me tell you, one of the best principles that Daddy has taught me is that you sow where you want to go.
That's right.
And so we keep asking people for these cuts and things like that, and we
Mm-hmm.
sow. Start sowing. If that's where you want to be and you want to grow with this person, you want to partner with, or you want to be on that level, start
Mm-hmm.
sowing in that way. This is business. It's not just faith practices. This is
Right.
business. You
Business.
need to begin to make the connections that are worthwhile. And to do that, you have to put some skin in the game. You have to make some sacrifices, and you have to be strategic. And that means sowing.
That means sewing. I was talking about your father the other day. One of Part of the conversation I can't say on here, but the other, because it was not good, but it was a teaching that he would give us, right?
Right.
And so I remember telling that person, I said, they should have went to the George Dix School of Ministry. And she was like, what? I was like, honey, because Pastor George used to tell us, and I understand now, the older I got now, at first, we thought it's a little harsh, it's a
Yep.
little harsh, it was just a tad bit harsh, which was fine. We need to know the word and all that, okay? So, but he would say to us, the reason why I'm mindful of who I put up here is because also too, y'all not going to be going to these other churches making me look bad. Like, you need to know pulpit etiquette, right? And so
Yes.
I was telling her, yeah, like, these people don't know pulpit etiquette. They should have went to the George Dick School of Ministry like I did. Then you'll know what you should do and how you should act in the pulpit, because Pastor George used to say to us, God is still sovereign and he's still holy. Why y'all out here? You're not going to be out here like that. And so I think that's gone to the wayside with
Mhm.
history, but I'm glad I had that kind of teaching, because it has stuck with me all these years, and I know how to act, honey. Because some of these people, you
Right.
don't know
You be like,
up or at the church. I ain't sure where they at. I just know they don't. They need to take a few classes from George.
look, and you and I both know Daddy be quick.
Quick.
Okay. Okay. Y'all ain't finna bring that in here.
not, not here. But it's so good though. These days, especially in ministry, we need it. We need it so bad, because people, they forget that God is holy, and
Mm.
it's anything goes. And so having to balance that and business has been something that God had to teach me how to do, because I still have to spend time in the Word and be prepared to minister and things like that. But I still have to run this business. So it's by God's grace that I do that.
That's it. And
Because
but
I consult him. I
that
consult him. Yeah,
that's it. Because you consult him.
all the
If
time.
y'all take nothing else from our conversation today, if you will consult God, he will speak to you.
He will. And it's all the time with us. I often giggle when I see people say, God is my CEO. Really? Is he really?
Yeah.
Is he really? First of all, he doesn't want to be your CEO. I hate to hurt your feelings. God doesn't want to be your pilot nor your CEO. God got a job, okay? You're
That
the CEO of the company, and God is okay with that. And I make that point because a lot of the clients that come to me that are women, they don't even want to be on their book cover. And they'll
yeah.
say to me, well, I don't want people to think it's about me. Well, isn't it about you? Isn't it your story? Like, God is not upset with you
Yeah.
for being yourself. Come on, y'all.
Yeah.
But bondage that people, women in particular, have been taught about business and their
That
stuff. They think I said, well, would you like me to put the Lord on the front then?
Right.
Now, how crazy does that sound? That sounds crazy, right?
Yes. Hello.
Because
I don't know how you gonna pull
always
that
like
off.
walking them back to the point where they're okay. Find your self-esteem and bring it with us, because somebody has ruined you and harmed you and telling you that God will be not pleased with you if you're on your own book cover.
And he gave you the book. That don't make any sense. He gave you the book. And I'm gonna tell y'all, Sherilyn had to work with me on this too, because I didn't want my picture on there. I was like,
Right?
I don't want it there. I'm okay with that. It's not about me anyways. And Sherilyn was like, yes, it is. We're moving on. Like, so it's a thing, but it's true though. Sometimes humbleness can be prideful too.
Yes, it can be. Yeah. Because you want us to say you're humble, but I'm never gonna say it. So
That
you can cut the act. You want me to say that you're humble, but I won't say it. I'll just be like, girl, can you get a high resolution picture so
and
we
let's
can,
move on.
because this is your story, right? God was okay with you telling your story. Then He's okay with your picture being. How are people gonna know it's your story? I'm just saying.
That's the thing. That's the thing. I mean, God created you, God gave you the story, then that means that he decided that you were part of it.
Your permission. And it's something that I went through as well, because when I started talking about branding, I think it's long when Jacayla became my client,
Mhm.
people want to interview me and talk to me and stuff like that. And then I noticed when I would start posting those things, I would get, well, now people want to be famous and all this different stuff. Listen, honey, if the Lord has placed you in a position of media, then he intends for you to be in a position of media. That means he can trust you, and it's all right.
That's it. That's it.
You
It's all right.
your elevation, honey, because you have tried many tears when people don't know. You have gone through many of things and walked on coals of fire. They don't get to tell you what God is not telling you to do. That part.
And that, put pin in that too, y'all.
That
You,
part.
you should have at least 3 or 4 pins by now. Like, these are things you need to
Right.
put on your sticky notes
We have
around your office, around your writing board, whatever you need to do. Make sure that you're holding this, because we are talking about the meshing of faith and business. They do not need to be separate. They should never be separate for women of faith. They
really,
should always be together.
they should be together. They should run parallel, right?
Always.
In your spirituality. If you're praying for yourself, you're praying for that business. If you're sowing for personally, you're sowing from that business. If you
Yep.
give personally, you're giving from that business. And I give when God taps me on the shoulder and says, no, I don't want you to charge for that. I don't do it. Even if I'm like, but God, it's a big job. Don't do it, because man, fruit, the fruit it has yielded. Listen to me, the fruit, that kind of thing has yielded. Even when I was like, oh, I really want to send an invoice today.
Today I want to send it, God.
Please don't do that. I ask you not to do that. So I don't do it.
And y'all, I hope y'all caught the inflection of her voice. It's the gentleness of his voice.
Yes, please
Y'all
don't.
think that he's roaring in the background and yelling
Right.
at you. He's not doing that. Stop
Mhm.
looking for that.
Yeah,
God has a still small voice. Okay.
he
He's a
does.
good father. He's not a good dictator. He's a good father. He's a
That
good father. So if y'all are wanting to know how to really discern God, go back and just replay what she just did. It's the still small voice. I asked you not to do that. Don't
right.
do that. It's not, girl, if you don't sit down.
Right. Yeah. I ask you, please don't do that. And I'm just, oh my God.
Right. And that's how he gets us too. Cause like, dang,
Darn it.
I was ready. My
I know.
finger was ready.
Because he knows there are some projects God just be like, nah, give it all to them.
Yeah. Yeah. And but like you said, when he does that, he's already giving you provision.
Yes, he's like the whole project, just give it to him. But listen, guys, God will tell you that and you'll be obedient. And the next thing you know, you'll be sitting at Clorox talking to vice presidents. I'm just telling you that God is, he is the rewarder of those who diligently seek him. Like, seriously, in a whole lane that you ain't even trained for, like diversity and inclusion. All I did was make a post, ma'am.
That's it. And he was all in the post.
He was
And
up,
he said
he was up
this.
in the post, and then Clorox is like, can you come back and talk to us for 8 months? Huh?
Sure. I absolutely can.
And God says, remember that seed? That's what he says. Remember that seed? It sprouted up in a whole nother field.
That's it.
That's it.
But you were tilling your soil.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Your soil.
That God said to me, half or 1/3 or all. People will be, it would be. Yeah, and I'll do it because There's nothing like being obedient to the Lord when it comes to your business. I mean, these guys, everywhere you go, I always tell women, look, everywhere you go is somebody's leap. Every store you walk in, somebody had to believe it enough for it to become what you now take part in, right?
That's it. That's
And
it.
me, I'm not afraid of big things. I always dream big. I go after big people. I just dream big, right? So when you're building that business or that brand, as long as you're honoring God and giving him what's his, because the company is his, right?
That's it.
Then you might look up and your product is in Walmart somewhere, or
Right.
your beauty products are in Ulta. I mean, God is not bound by these things that we think he's bound by
That's
when it
it.
comes to business. And so when we're out there in the marketplace and we say that we're kingdom, please know that you need to compete. Okay. I just want to put that out there. You need to be able to compete. Okay. That means that you don't have to call Sherilyn, but please don't call your cousin in the basement to design nothing, honey. He don't know what he's doing. And corporate things have to look different and they have to be able to compete in the marketplace. So if God sends you there and you're in Walmart, do you think that they're actually going to put a raggedy label in their shelves? They're not.
They're
So
not.
God to provide for you so you can get somebody good that knows what they're doing when it comes to corporate things. That's if you want to be corporate. Now, if you have a local vision, then okay. Yeah.
Put a pin in that.
You have a local vision, just go with cousin whoever. But if
Right.
you're corporate, honey, seek God's face about that strategic plan, that business. I didn't even have a business plan. I
Wow.
didn't have one. I'm just saying I didn't have one. God built the business.
That's
You should
it.
probably, I don't know. Get one, honey.
It's true. It's true. I mean, I think that my platform is friendship and community and how it is the first level of discipleship. But I think that business is also a form of discipleship, right?
Yeah,
Because it
absolutely.
puts you in these different arenas and you don't necessarily have to say Jesus, 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 and God, 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 but how you do things and how you present things are a representation of him. And so when she's talking about have the business plan, have the right graphics, have the good marketing tools, have the branding, like all of these things, it's important because you're a representation of his work.
That's right.
And so that is their first, sometimes it is their first introduction to discipleship.
That's right.
It's not about your product, it's about his glory. And we're created for that, right? That's what we're created to effectuate his glory in the earth.
Right.
Period. There's nothing else after that. He didn't create us for anything else.
Right.
And
That's your only
read the
job.
word, y'all.
Yeah.
Like that's it. And so when she's telling you to do these things and to really be strategic about how you're building your base, and if you're saying I don't even international or national or whatever, think of it as a form and a tool of discipleship.
It
And it
is.
will change the way that you do things because she's talked to us about how she has these national people, these international accounts, like corporate accounts, they run the gamut. But one thing that she did was she listened to God. She sowed when he told her to sow, but she also makes sure that whatever she puts out is with excellence because it's a representation of him.
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
that's a big thing, right? And then she's a boutique firm. She's all of these things, but she doesn't operate like one. And I think a lot of us
Yeah.
like to operate
Yes.
boutique.
Boutique. Because there have been times when I've questioned how I operate with my clients, but God says, no, this is just how I want you to do it. And so I feel like a lot of women in business need to be free. They need to be freed from a lot of the jargon that they hear that overwhelms them, that intimidates them, and makes them feel like I'm never going to make it. I'm never going to make it. If you, and as Petra said, if you see your business as a discipleship tool, listen, there are times when I'm on with apostles and leaders, and I have to then switch to being a minister and pour into them right in the middle of business calls. And you'd be surprised to know that when I was at Clorox, when I was having these 8 months of meetings, and I was the only outside person they allowed in, one of the executives turned to me and said, Sherilyn, as a minister, what do you think? And that was just because I went in there without pitching a tent, without bringing Bibles and all of that. But they saw in me, yeah, she said she's a minister. I said I was a minister on the first call. They asked me about it on the fourth call. So it is how we show up, guys, when we say we're a business that's also kingdom, but also when we say we're kingdom and we have to go in a corporate arena. You don't have to go with scripture and all of that if you're living it already, because your heart is going to be revealed in any conversation you have. And so they said to me, Okay, Sherilyn, as a minister, what do you think? And there was my opportunity at a Fortune 500 company with 60 employees and 5 VPs on the line to talk about my faith. To talk about my faith. It didn't come the first day when I said, I'm a minister. It came the fourth day. And then one of the executives says to me, okay, I'm going to need a moment. After I talked, she was in tears. So that was the Spirit of the Lord. She didn't know what it was, but that was the Spirit of the Lord. So, if you say that your kingdom, your life has got to reflect that, because job and your only job, and this does come from Pastor George, is to honor God and win souls. That's it. All that extra stuff y'all doing, that's Pastor Joy. Is good, but that's not your job. This is your job. So, and so this platform is blessed by the Lord because it connects, and there's nothing like Christian and kingdom connections to get people where they need to be in Christ. So I'm proud of you, Pet Chef.
Yeah. I'm so thankful. I think that you have blessed everyone that is listening to this, really, because you have been transparent. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we get to these people who we see their platform like, wow, that's amazing. Mm-hmm. Totally untouchable.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you can't get an audience with them.
Right.
And so to give people these tools and these snippets and these tips, I think is so important, because I think it's a part of who you are, is empowering and building and teaching women how to take these leaps.
Yes.
Right? Like that's it. That's what you told me. You're a mentor. I'm going to help you. I'm going to support you. Right. You're going to take these leaps of faith. Right. That's it. That's all that we're wanting and pushing for. And I think, like you said, there's a lot of things that we have to unlearn.
Yes, we do. Yeah.
And I don't think that I've ever thought about it like that. Like I've been like, I'm not gonna do that. But you know what I mean? Like, but I didn't realize. I'm just saying. I didn't realize that you actually have to unlearn some of that stuff. Mm-hmm. And to unlearn it means you have to replace it with something else.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
You have to replace it with something else. And that's what you've built. Like when God told you you're never going to do corporate again, you had to replace that mentality and, this is going to be my livelihood.
Right.
Something else. Like now is the time. Like my creativity, my anointing, all of these things are going to begin to fill the gaps.
Yeah, that's right.
You know what I mean?
I won't say that it was an easy walk.
Yeah.
It was scary at first, for sure, because a lot of times we think that our faith is one place when it's not, until we have to use it, and then there's a depletion there. So I think at first I was like, oh my God, do I really know Jesus like this?
Right. Let's talk again, God. Let me make sure I know you.
Did I hear you, sir? Because I woke up this morning freaking out, right, about the fact that I got bills to pay, and it's just I said, no, I have to go for it. I have to do it. And frankly, I already had freelance clients. I just didn't have big ones because I wasn't trying. And even to this day, thank the Lord, I don't really advertise. Women like yourself, they give me recommendations. And that's why I always say, Black women have built this company for me. I don't really have to do a lot of advertising, and I'm booked 2 weeks straight at all times. So, it's when people say the sisterhood is dead, that's not true. I've seen it in my business so many times over and over. I probably got 2 recommendations today, two recommendations today, even. So
see, look at God.
Yeah,
look at.
Mm-hmm.
God provides
to the people of God in business. Yeah.
That's it. I tell y'all all the time, once you make godly connections, quality friendships, they will begin to stand in the gap for you. They will. We talk about the hedge of protection and how it's God who sent his angels, all those things, but your friends are a part of that hedge too.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Your friends are part of that hedge, and you have to choose wisely.
Choose wisely. And these connections can be seasonal. So
hello.
Feel bound because the connections could be seasonal, but it's all in the how you disconnect or the how you say goodbye. It's all in that God's going to honor. He does not tell you to be out of season with someone. It could have just been for a moment. Or a lot of times women are just connectors. They're just there to make the connection, right? And so how to keep that there, it's going to be problems. There's going to be problems. So it really is all in how you say the goodbye or how you disconnect.
That's it. That's it. I tell people all the time, don't be a placeholder. You
That's
cannot hold someone's spot. I'm just saying, don't do it. Do not do it. I mean, Sherilyn's talking about seasonal or, for a reason, all this. Do not be a placeholder. That's what she's telling you. Do not do that.
don't do it. You're right.
Don't do it. So you have shared so many good things. I'm so thankful for you spending some time with us. It has been amazing. I'm thankful for you. You know that I'm thankful for you.
Yeah.
There's so much that I believe that God has given you, and I know that He's already blessing you to walk in. And so I want the women to connect with you. So can you give them all of your information so they can connect and follow along?
Yes. So I'm on Facebook, Sherilyn Michelle Bennett, and my company is Camden Lane Creative Agency on Facebook. It's also Camden Lane Creative Agency on Instagram. Our website is camdenlanecreative.com. And on Instagram, I'm Sherilyn M. Bennett. The boy book, if you want more information about that, it's boybook.com. The book is available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble, Walmart too.
Yeah, and you guys definitely want to tap into that project. It is really, really, really timely and something that you don't want to be on the wrong side of history for not having.
Right.
That's it. That's what I'm going to say that. It's my show. I can say that. So that's that. So I'm very excited. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I can't wait for next month. Join me at the table. You are going to love the guests that we have. It has been a blessing. Again, as always, make sure that you like, subscribe, and share this with your friends and family. Let's grow together. I love you all. Talk to you soon. Bye.